can write a check, you can put cash in. Some people even put gambling chips in the offering plate. I'm not kidding. Because it's really giving not only to his church, it's giving to the Lord. So Dr. Lynn, would you scripture on your heart, whatever's in your heart, because you're my mentor. Do whatever you want.
The Lord shared with me the word stewardship. You know, Paul the Apostle thought very highly of stewardship of his calling and ministry. Let's pray. Let's believe, God, that our vision will even expand and extend and do more effectively than ever before. Father, in Jesus' name, I thank you for the privilege of being part of this great work right here at ICLV.
And the buckets are going to go around the aisles. Go ahead and give as the Lord leads your heart.
All right, man, we in this thing, man. We gonna hold it up. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance. Get notifications. We go live or drop a video. Give me a minute. There we go. Keyshawn Davis, Devin Haney could be in the worst. Schofield and Mason. Vergil Ortiz still ducking. Jerron Boots Ennis. So that's what we rocking with today. Shout out to King E. Salute. We ain't about to waste no time because I ain't got no time. Slid this one in for y'all. So yeah, man, if y'all didn't see the video, I did the video on the situation. And Vergil Ortiz did an article. All right, we do got boxing this weekend. Let's go over that first. So I hope to get more live streams in, somewhat of a consistent schedule going. So bear with the kid. So yeah, let's see what we so I might even start commentating some fights if I feel like it, to be honest. I ain't making no promises. But here we go. So we got Sabril Matias, Dalton Smith. I will be watching that. That's in Brooklyn this weekend. With Brooklyn, I guess the Barclays Center. We also got Egit Cabal. My bad. We also got Egit Cabal. He's fighting on the zone versus Damian something on Saturday. I'm an Egit Cabal fan. I'm gonna probably watch that. Michael Zephyr next Friday versus Nikita Zoo. I guess that's Tim Zoo, folks. Alexis Rocha also returns. That's in Australia on the zone versus Raul Curiel. That's next Friday. Next Saturday, Freddie Kuwait. I mean, a bunch of motherfuckers you don't know. So nothing really going on next Saturday. But the Saturday after that, you have Moses Atamo taking on Jermaine Franklin, which I feel like he should have fought him in the States, to be honest. But I get it. Also, you got Raimondo Moratella taking on Andy Cruz January 24th as well, too. And then the 31st, you got a bunch of fights going on. It's not like about boxing. Out of all the weekends, we don't have fights. But the last two Saturdays, you know, you're going to have some fun. I mean, throughout the month, other than the 17th, I mean, you got Cabal and Sabril this Saturday. You skip a Saturday, then you skip a Saturday, and then you got Atama and Franklin vested in that. Raimondo Moratella, Andy Cruz invested in that. And then the last Saturday, the last day of the month, Xander Zayas taking on Abasa Baroa. I don't know what TV channel that shit's gonna be. I think Top Rank streaming that somewhere. Background Mazaliev and Kelly in the UK. So I mean, Stevenson and she keeps in the Teofimo Lopez. So then you be coming up on the Super Bowl as well too. So there's a lot of content coming up in January. I think more than most people pretty much thought, more than I thought. I remember some of these fights going on. So we got a good boxing month, honestly, to start off the year. Usually the year is, quite slow. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Usually the year is quite slow. So we speeding. Remember that song by Rick Ross, Speeding, off of Port of Miami. We speeding. We off to a good start. So hopefully we get some of these other fights. We get some of these other fights that's announced. But back to Vergil Ortiz. Ain't no shame amongst these fighters. Ain't no shame no more, because the managers, the promoters, they allow this shit to happen. You know what I'm saying? And the fans always justify fuck shit. And this is some fuck shit in my opinion. Vergil Ortiz, he's saying that he don't want the title. He wants the titles, not the fame. And like I said, when it's hard to get the titles, all of a sudden they don't care about the titles. When, it's a fight that people want to see regardless of the titles, then they want the titles. That's just the times that we living in. But also, I'm going to speak on, I heard his rumors that Anthony Joshua may step away. Heard his uncles want him to step away. I guarantee you his financial situation is going to dictate if he step away and stay away. Okay? That's what it is. Most people don't work, or most people don't work, or most people, they work because they have to. You know what I'm saying? They can't retire. They can't walk away. You know what I'm saying? So, his ability to retire is probably pretty much going to be on the strength of his financial situation. That's what it's going to be on. So I think people don't put enough emphasis on that as well too. So, I seen what happened. I ain't speaking on no deaths. I ain't speaking on no shit like that. Y'all know what it is. I ain't speaking on that. So I seen what happened. Honestly, I don't get into conspiracy theories and nothing like that when it comes to that. But his financial situation usually dictate when you can and can't walk away. Y'all be thinking these athletes and entertainers got all this money that they don't have. So that'll dictate whether he walks away or not. A lot of these motherfuckers need to check. If you're listening to Deontay Wilder, he got money, people stealing money from him left and right. So just think about that. If the bitches you got around and the people that you call brother you got around stealing money, who else stealing money then? Managers stealing money, promoters stealing money. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the biggest scams is, as a man, it's your responsibility to solely take care of your family because you're the responsible one of the family. I feel like that's bullshit. It's a man's effort. It's more than one man in the family. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, what's going on? Daniel Berry said he ain't been on this early. King Ease, Javier Logan. Wait, now he wants titles, but he didn't want to fight Mutalia for the IBF belt. I'm gonna address that too. Let's get this shit out the way. So I'm gonna address all that. So apparently, Canelo Alvarez don't want to come back and fight. I can't pronounce this dude's name. Give me 5 seconds. Give me 1 minute. So apparently it's the guy that they don't want to fight. So it says Munguia declines to fight with Olaces and Iglesias. So he's Cuban I think I looked this guy up. He Cuban. And whatever reason, he's 28. He looked like he might be a legit 28. He looked a little bit like David Morrell with a crooked nose. 6'2.5", southpaw. I see he's basically a resident of Germany right now. 14 wins, 13 knockouts. I kind of probably see why niggas don't want to fight him. He fighting out of Montreal. He fought in Canada the last few times. I feel like I've seen this guy before. Hey, ain't this the dude that Dave Morrell like knocked out in like 2 rounds? Yeah, that's him. So yeah, he's southpaw, 6'3". That's why the motherfuckers don't want to fight him. I might do a film breakdown of him. Why not? I got them Shakun and T.O. breakdown coming up pretty soon. So Munguia rejects the IBF title offer. Iglesias search continues. Said the Tiger president, Camille Stephanie on today. So pretty much he a fucking problem. Now, I feel like Munguia was guilty, and that's my humble opinion on it. I feel like he guilty, but he was cleared. You know what I'm saying? He got offered a title shot, and this guy was just too good. I guarantee you, southpaw, Cuban, 6'3", probably got good range for his height. They was trying to avoid him, and I think also before I kind of really looked into him, my thing was this. I figured they didn't want to fight him because motherfuckers don't want to do the 10-pound rehydration clause, and that's what I was hitting at with. That's what I heard Vergil Ortiz say. He didn't want to fight, for Mazzaglia because of the 10-pound rehydration clause. You got to remember, this is a dude who moved up a couple weight classes. Munguia then moved up a couple weight classes, and these motherfuckers talking about a 10-pound rehydration clause. But Vergil Ortiz, he says titles, not fame. All right. So it says the goal isn't to be a superstar. The goal is to fight the very best and prove to myself I'm the best. Ortiz told Boxing, I don't care about being a superstar or having 1 billion followers on Instagram. For me, it is personal. I want these belts on my wall, wake up every day and see them on my wall. Quote, it's a physical embodiment of all the hard work I've done my entire life. That belt, it isn't just a physical object. It's all the blood, sweat, and tears that come out of my body, all the injuries, all the hard work, all the grit over the years. All right. In Ortiz's past fight, he knocked out Lubin in the second round. He trapped Lubin, a southpaw, on the ropes, rendered him unconscious and was while still landing. Ortiz had heard the pre-fight talk how Lubin could trouble him, especially in his success in the USA boxing as an amateur. That motivated him. It's not easy at all, especially with some of the caliber of Erickson Lubin. Ortiz, 27, said, quote, I was in camp for 4 months and I was working hard on my craft. It is not easy. Ortiz, when asked whether the Ennis fight could be next, alternative options include Errol Spence Jr. or WC belt holder Sebastian Fondor. It is more than possible. He said, I'm optimistic that it will happen. So at the end of the day, obviously not a definite, but on one hand, his manager is saying he's going to be the face of boxing. On the other hand, he's saying that he don't care about being a superstar. He wants the titles. And I'm telling y'all, when it's convenient for these guys, they don't want they go whatever way is convenient for them. And unfortunately, it's not a good look for him. Even if he takes the fight, he has to win in some type of dominant fashion. And it's just like, they could be building the fight up. And realistically, they need this fight to happen along with Abdullah Mason, Floyd Schofield, Devin Haney, and Keyshawn Davis. And if these type of fights don't happen, Benavidez, Bivol, better BF, Tank, if he going to get back in the mix, these fights need to happen to have people invest more money in the sport of boxing, invest their time. The brother Tom Business, he did a video in which he was talking about, how he did a video in which he was talking about how, they putting darks on NBC before boxing, and boxing has just become too expensive. It's crazy. So it's just that it's become too expensive, and then it's okay to, drive a Benz if you can afford it, and you're going to get Benz performance out of it. You're going to get Lamborghini, Ferrari performance out of it. You know what I'm saying? It's cool if you can get that performance out of it. So But we'll see. We'll see. But it's just, he just comes off as a coward doing all this stuff because it should be plain and simple. It's all of his managers not making it better. Oh, our contract said we could fight here. Our contract said we could fight there. You ain't heard nothing from Boots. But these are the type of fights that we need. And also needs to be some pressure on Fondor to shake something. Xander Zayas, he went out there even without a television network behind him. And he went out there and he was able to, get the easiest belt available. And even without a television network and Xander Zayas fight probably streaming on Facebook Live and all this other type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Even with that being the case, they don't even feel the urgency to fight each other. They don't even feel the urgency, or they don't even feel that the fight game is slipping away. You know what I'm saying? And the urgency is just not to make these fights. Eventually they're going to have to make these fights for survival mode, but also they have to fight like they're in survival mode. They got to fight like they got a hunger. When the last time you seen a top-notch fight when they fight like they was hunger? Too many times they fight like they scared to lose. Too many times these motherfuckers throw one or two punches and get back on defense. They're not trying to will their way to win. They could be down and they need a knockout, and these motherfuckers would just be satisfied not getting knocked out. No, the hunger is gone. And across American sports, you don't see the hunger anymore. Basketball players not hungry. Football players not hungry. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just no more hunger, amongst a lot of these guys. Everybody is comfortable, living a coward's life. They said coward dies 1,000 deaths. Everybody comfortable living 1,000 deaths. Nobody is brave. I'm telling y'all, we ever went back to the situations where, we had to be in barbaric survival mode. A lot of these niggas would be like them niggas used to be like, be somebody's bitch. A lot of men would be somebody's bitches. I was doing some research on the Conqueror gang. Some people would say, okay, the great conqueror, what's his name? Genghis Khan. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't really finished it. I'm definitely gonna do more research on it. And he killed so many people that he's killed like 10% of the world's population. They said that it started to clear up the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? But I was reading, how barbaric it was when he was a child. Or before he was a child, his father actually abducted his mother from her first husband or her first boyfriend, and that's the type of barbaric shit that went on back in the day. Like, you can steal a bitch and she your bitch, and a nigga don't come get her, or the man don't come whoop you. We so far away from a lot of the rooted things that make a man a man. So many, males in America have been feminized, and when you start to see the feminization in the athletes and the lack of competition in the athletes, you just got to just look and wonder, like, where is the hunger? You know what I'm saying? Where's the hunger at no more? And these guys ain't hungry no more. Everybody is putting the money above everything. And I always say this, if you got the Patreon or you listen to some of my Free Game 89 content, as a man, the money can't be your priority. It can't be your number one thing. A woman has that option. A woman to do anything for money. A woman will do cowardly things, set niggas up for money. Some of these bitches sold their children for money, right? Some of these women had some of these women had children just to have money, or just to get money. But as a man, how you biologically built, you can't do shit for money. You can't do any and everything for money. It can't be your number one priority. And that's what you see in boxing. It's too many, people that just, they worship the money. At the end of the day, when it's gone, all you got is your dignity and your legacy. A lot of these guys ain't got a legacy. Their legacy is being a coward. Come on. Get in there with Boots. You know what I'm saying? Because you had ample enough time to get in there with Mazaliev. Obviously tried to get in there with the weakest link, Xander Zayas. You know what I'm saying? So it's time to get that money. It's time to get that money. It's time to go in there and fight Jerron Boots Ennis, because it's the fight that, it's the fight that we need. It's the fight that the sport need if we gonna carry on. He said, yeah, I've been telling myself I need to watch O'Saley's last 2 fights. Yeah, looking at his dimensions, I see why these niggas are 6'3", southpaw, 68. Probably fighting Kumar. Style shot to Ricky E245 or it's 24599. Anthony salute. He said Ortiz was the WC interim. Was the interim champion of WC over a year, and not once did he push Fondor into the ring. But then again, Fondor dropped that belt like Snoop Dogg. Drop it like it's how he dropped 2 other belts, the WBO and the WBA, if my memory serves me correctly. The networks are not getting a return on investment, which is one by one. They're kickboxing to the curve. He said credit to Top Rank for making Zayas rough money talk. I mean, that's a cheap fight to make. That's why they can make it without TV backing. It's a cheap fight to make. Zayas probably going to be on Top Rank channel on Tubi. He said, how is Vergil Ortiz not hungry? Career payday is $2 million. What you mean? What you mean he not hungry? You can tell he ain't hungry. He ain't never won a title. He been a pro 10 years. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? What's $2 million once everything eat that shit up? Capitalism dictates how professional operates. I mean, obviously now it ain't, but at the end of the day, it's a sport. It's competition. If you fight the best, you're going to get paid. If you stick to the program, you're going to get paid. Regardless. Even Canelo had to fight a certain level of competition. You know what I'm saying? Even Canelo had to fight a certain level of competition. He couldn't just fight all vagabonds. He had to fight certain guys. He had to fight certain guys regardless. At the end of the day, Vergil Ortiz ain't hungry. I don't know how you can say that. If he's hungry, he finds a way to make that fight. He finds a way to make that fight. If he really was hungry, he would have found a way to get a belt. And he don't want to get a belt because it ain't no easy belt to get. The easy belt that he tried to obtain, wasn't so easy. Keep telling y'all that. Because Xander Zayas didn't want to fight. He tried to send Xander Zayas an offer. How the fuck are you going to send me the offer and I'm the champion? Hold on one quick. My bad. But yeah. But let's move on. Make sure I'm unmuted. Hold on. Well, we was gonna move. There we go. It's me. Audio. Hold on real quick. Trying to pull this article up. 1 second. But yeah, we're gonna start talking about Abdullah Mason and Floyd Schofield. So for the most part, trying to let this shit load. I don't know what's going on. Most part, Floyd Schofield called up Abdullah Mason. He said he would knock him out. Said he ain't got no chin. He said he ain't got no chin. He'll knock him out. At the end of the day, don't nobody take Floyd Schofield and his father, third or whatever the fuck he is. Don't nobody take them serious at all. You know what I mean? I think, pulling out the Shakur Stevenson fight, just pulling out the Joseph Diaz fight, you don't know if they're going to fight or not fight. And what I truly believe is that I think financially they know the money going from boxing, and this is their way of trying to kiss turkey ass. They demanded $10 million. I don't envision them getting $10 million for this particular fight. I know they know that they not getting $10 million for this particular fight. So they can say what they want to say and say all that type of stuff, but that amount of money ain't coming their way. And we just at the point where don't nobody continue want to waste time to see, what they gonna do.
What do you think that would happen?
You already know.
You know what I'm going to say. You know
he needs some clickbait.
Well, yeah, all right. Are we stopping? What are we doing?
Do y'all think Mason gonna last 12 rounds for kid? Like, I'm asking you, Mills. Do you think that?
Stop it. Hold on. Well, we can't.
I know we can't because he's a journalist and he gotta be politically correct. But I don't think anybody think Mason would be able to take kid punches.
Around. We gotta always go back to his little flash knockdowns that happened twice. He got flash knocked down twice.
Come on, we gotta be political.
No, I'm being nice. I'm not even trying to talk trash. You got.
Oh, you be
wrong words.
And anybody could get touched.
Right.
Yeah,
anybody could get touched. Thank you. Anybody could get touched on their chin. But the fact you got touched on your chin by a 126 fighter, like, come on. And not once. You get knocked down once in a fight. It's boxing. It happened. You see. I would.
They gotta say,
look about you and.
So you heard him. So you heard what he said. So he popped this shit. He said that he ain't got no chin. His father said he can't take it on the chin. Why price yourself out? Why ask for $10 million then? Hopefully they don't want to ask for $10 million. You know what I'm saying? And this is a fight that needs to happen. We need young fighters fighting each other. They should go ahead and make it happen. Yeah, they sparred and it seemed like Mason got the best of him in sparring, but that's sparring. Don't just put something out there and then be talking about 5 or 6, 7 years down the line. You know what I'm saying? They need to go ahead and fight. And Schofield wants the title clash with Abdullah Mason. He said it wasn't the most active year for Floyd Schofield. The 23-year-old made the most of his lone appearance in 2025. It took him just over a minute to stop Tevin Farmer in the first round, although he hasn't been in the ring since. Schofield believes he's ready for a big-time fight next. The lightweight division is a ton of notable names. While Floyd Schofield wouldn't mind lacing him up with just about anyone, his preference is to get his hands on a young fighter who's coming off the best win in his career. I want Abdullah Mason. Schofield obviously told Mill City Boxing. I feel like in 2026, two young guys get it out the way so early in their careers. Who don't want to see it? And then again, he's right. This is how you build trilogies. This is how you stack paper. This is how you stack wealth. This is how you create, notoriety for yourself. This is how people get into the Hall of Fame. This is why Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward is mentioned amongst the greats, even though they weren't great fighters. They made for great fights. And honestly, Hearns and Leonard fought 3 times. I think Hearns and Leonard and Duran, I think they fought 3 times, 2 or 3 times. I think they might have fought third later in the career, whatever. So yeah, this is what you need, rivalries. You know what I'm saying? You need rivalries like this. You know what I'm saying? And too many times in history, we seen rivalries slip through the cracks. Bernard Hopkins should have fought Roy Jones a lot sooner again. You know what I'm saying? But obviously Bernard didn't want no more of that, in my opinion. He can't price himself out versus Roy Jones after what he did to him. Reality, I feel like JT, James Toney, and Roy Jones should have fought a couple more times. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Oscar De La Hoya and Trinidad should have fought 4 or 5 times. Marquez and Manny Pacquiao will always be linked to each other for the 5 fights that they had. Barrera, Morales, Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao is amongst one of the great fighters, not just for the fact of, climbing through the, even without him climbing through the welterweight and technically 154 and all that. You think about the fights he had with Barrera, the fights that he had with Morales, the fights that he had with Marquez down at the lower weight classes. Those were made Manny Pacquiao foundation of his fans. They were great fights. He was an exciting fighter. And you got 2 exciting fighters right here and now. Why not make it happen? What are we waiting on? And that's one of the, things that, you get penalized for when you got 4 belts in the boxing. When you got 1 belt, hey, we got to see each other. When you got, main weight classes, when you don't have junior, it ain't no way to duck. We can put the amateur style in the professional boxing. That'd be great. But in reality, it's no better time for boxing to go back to the Contender Series, fuse it with a tournament. The money, it ain't too many high deserving paid fighters. You can go to the 140-pound division, put a reality TV series tournament in, you can raise the notoriety up. Why not? Why not? The Contender, what was the name of the UFC shit they had? They confused that in with a tournament. They somehow fused that into a term. 135 is a perfect division. 126 is another perfect division. What welterweight right now? It's a perfect division for them to do a tournament, reality TV type of style. It's perfect. You don't necessarily have to have teams. But it's perfect. It's perfect to pour that money into those guys and make one tournament. I don't really understand why they all do their whole careers as amateurs. They all was in tournaments, world tournaments, national tournaments, state tournaments, international or world tournaments. Why not do it now? Why not do it now? But this is what they need. They need this fight, Mason, Schofield. They need Ennis, Ortiz. You know what I'm saying? They need Haney, Davis, Benavidez, Bivol. Lester Martinez, Mambili again. Sit your ass down. Sit down. You ain't gonna join the Bark Fest. Sit. This is how you get back on network television. Bruce Shushu Carrington, Rafael Espinoza, Leo in that division, Roberzio Ramirez. Man, it'd be a great time for them to do a Prefler tournaments. It'd be a great time. Boxing should go tournament style. Then you would have a reason, to have 4 belts. You can even kind of sit down. Sit. He's always trying to sneak off. Sit down. Then you kind of even make, after a certain a movement in the ball, you can even sponsor it off and call it the Chip Bowl or the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, like in college football. They don't think innovative enough in boxing. Especially right now with the Zone being the only major television network right now until Zuffa come January 23rd. They on January 23rd. It's the perfect time. Young guys should fight. I was listening to somebody say what happened to all the Brian Norman fans. At the end of the day, don't jump off the bandwagon. He still can come back. He still will come back. This should be what it is, man. If y'all gonna have 4 belts around this motherfucker, make it turn every 3-4 years. It should be a mandatory tournament. You know what I'm saying? It should be a mandatory tournament. It should be mandatory, man. This is a good fight. Anything can happen. Both of these guys, Mason, Schofield, they both love throwing hooks. If I'm Mason Dad, I'm having that motherfucker throw a jab every time. All we doing is throwing jab in between camps. He at the Cleveland game, nigga, work on your jab. His dad should be forcing in his head to use his reach in his jab. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no reason a kid that big and that physically gifted should be, should be in a phone booth fight where Sam knows. And I feel like that fight answered a lot of questions about his chin. But if he ain't gonna throw a jab or a Schofield, he can get clipped. It can jump them to modern day superstardom, honestly. You throw Tank into that mix. You throw Shockey Foster into that mix. You throw Raimondo Mortella, Andy Cruz into that mix. Albert Bill is really a good fighter out of Toledo. Lamont Roach, I don't know if he gonna squeeze back down. You throw him into that mix. You throw Joe Cordina, Sam Noakes into that mix. Williams Zepeda into that mix. That's a good division. And these are the guys that we actually know. a tournament would be great. A tournament would be great. Throw all 4 champions in. If not, hey, see you later. All these dudes, they whole career in amateurs, they fought tournament style. It's crazy. Why should it change in the pros? That's what I asked. Why should it change in the pros? That's the biggest thing about professional boxing. I think the biggest mistakes they got away with was from amateurs and going to pay-per-view. You know? I did see Ryan came out of the closet. I mean, shout out to him. For those who I seen, he came out the closet. But I just feel like he looking for attention. But I'm not surprised. You know, I seen that Kobe sent that. I seen him. I'm coming out my closet. I'm sorry, mama. Everybody's surprised when Tank already came out too. I'm coming out. I want the boxing world to know. I want the world to. I'm coming. I'm coming out. I'm coming. Hey, back in the day when Mason Diddy did that fucking, was he Puff Daddy back then? Did that Diana Ross remix? That shit was fire. You know, I ain't no Puff already say out. I'm coming. That nigga, man, Mace had one of the most dominant years in rap for sure though. He said, for clarity, it's clear Vergil Ortiz is not hungry to be satisfied with making less. I see what you're saying. Not finding cable. Man, it is what it is. Niggas want a nickel and dime. A Justin salute. He said these boxers not even media trained how they do react. Hey, that's true. That's what's gonna make it raw. That's what's gonna. Oh baby, I like it raw. Shimmy, 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 yeah, shimmy, yeah. That's what make it raw. Yeah, Shakur Stevens said that name. Remember Easy E? What was the song? Easy E was like nigga, nigga, nigga. What was the name? Easy song. Easy E kept saying that shit. What did he say? Get off my. What's the name of that song, bro? Somebody know it. Yeah, bring back the Super Six. Facts. Nobody takes Team Schofield serious. Remember they bragged about the 5-year contract, 330. But man, Oscar De La Hoya broke. All them boy broke. Keyshawn, I'm about to get to Keyshawn. He said not ready for Zuffa. BNC fighters depending on getting. The thing about it is Zuffa also got 12 major boxing cards. I think 10 to 13 major boxing cards that's going to simultaneously stream on Paramount. And it's going to stream on CBS, so they're going to have major fights. Turkey's going to buy major fights. So it doesn't even matter. A lot of those other fights they got, I forget our number, like maybe 10 or 15 other fight cards is going to be like January 23rd, they're going to be minor fight cards, you know. But they're going to have about 10 to 13 major fight cards. That's why reading is fundamental, nigga. But here we have Devin Haney. All right. So apparently, he said, I'm looking at a few different options. No date yet. Remember, Turkey wanted to actually put him and David Benavidez back in the ring in February. Benavidez elected to go, made the Gilberto Ramirez fight on Cinco de Mayo. I don't think nobody care about that. And Keyshawn right here saying he's waiting to see what I'll do with Jermaine Ortiz. Okay. So Keyshawn said that. He said, you on the list. We can get it. We can get it on. And, you know, Keyshawn apparently in that interview he did with Max Kellerman and Malik Scott. And don't think I ain't going to talk about Malik Scott. I said about Terrence Crawford. I had that up in the morning. That's already done. So, yeah, you already know I'm going to talk about that, what Malik said. But here.
After I beat Jermaine Ortiz, I'm going to go to 147, and I'm going to become a 147 champion. Okay. And then I'm going to defend it against somebody at 147.
Devin Haney? Devin Haney's at 147, right? And he got a belt.
Now he is, yeah.
And you say you want 147? I mean, what we doing? What we talking about?
So you heard him. So he pretty much been alluding to it can be Devin Haney. So, I mean, that's good. He said he won't stay at 140 on. Oh, Fatso Picasso say real niggas don't die. NWA. Is that the song? Yeah. But I mean, it's a good fight. I mean, I think I couldn't find the clip where Keyshawn Davis saying to Andre Ward that even when he was fighting 6 and 8 rounders calling out Devin Haney, he knew he wasn't ready for Devin Haney. I couldn't find that clip to save my life, but I had seen it on Instagram. And at the end of the day, it's a good fight. It's a fight that I will look forward to seeing. At the end of the day, somebody in the comment section said he don't feel like Leslie George says she don't feel like, I think it's a boy or girl, sorry, doesn't feel like Keyshawn is ready. I mean, yeah, he just won a world title versus what was old buddy name? He looked way bigger than him. Devin ain't turning down no fade, but he rolling with Turkey, and they gotta, you gotta pay like you weigh. I feel like Keyshawn got the mentality. I feel like he got a good skill set. My thing is, does he got the gas tank to keep up with Devin for 12 rounds? I feel like I don't think he can box with Devin right now. And I just feel like it was a lot of missed opportunity for Keyshawn Davis. I mean, De Los Santos could have showed he could took a punch. You fight your real first true puncher. But then again, he might have felt like that was a lose-lose. De Los Santos was out, blood clots. Maybe it was like, hey, if this guy get me, then I'm not going to be what they say I'm going to be, and he's old and washed up. But he fought Lamones, who was dropped down 5 pounds. I feel like he should have fought them. Should have fought a guy like Armando Mortella. That would have been great for him. He was crying about sanctioning fees. Should have fought Andy Cruz. He did all that shit talking about. And this kind of how I just know that nigga be talking. Even when he was an Andre Ward, he admitted that he just be talking. It's because he had all this vitriol towards Andy Cruz, but when Andy Cruz successfully defected over to America, Keyshawn Davis started talking about he didn't want to fight. Cruz put up on his mama, you and me, your mama and your cousins too. He put up on Keyshawn, Shakun, and Keyshawn mama. And, all of a sudden, Keyshawn Davis, his whole energy changed. Keyshawn was never trying to get in the ring with Andy Cruz, and if you really look at Keyshawn, he tells you exactly what he is. He's a businessman. They get mad at Devin Haney for making business, making business type of, making money. But Keyshawn Davis' name is the businessman. When they brought up fight Armando Mortella, what was the issue with that? We all know what the issue with that was. He started talking about he don't want to pay the sanctioning fee. He was talking shit about Andy Cruz until he defected to America. He had defected successfully to America. He pulled up on him. He changed his whole tune. You know what I'm saying? He admitted to pump faking, calling out Devin Haney, knowing he wasn't ready. He ducked the fade versus Edwin De Los Santos. That whole fight week, he knew he wasn't fighting De Los Santos. So when you look at it, Keyshawn got a lot of holes in this game and the chinks to his armor. He evaded a lot of motherfuckers, bro. And did he make some enemies by leaving Bomac? I mean, you gotta do what's best for you. We know he got with Jay Prince, and when you get with these managers, they want certain type of creative control. But in reality, he already did some fuck nigga shit. That's just being real. Like I said this before, and I say it again. A lot of people criticize Tank. I call a spade when it come to Tank. A lot of these niggas doing the same shit Tank doing. The only thing about Tank, he being brutally honest. And a lot of these niggas is doing what Tank doing, but they hiding what they doing. Tank is very transparent about how he moving and who he is. And that's the one thing about it, man. When somebody tell us certain things, we got to take them for who they are. And one thing about Tank, I'll give him credit. I appreciate the transparency that Tank give. A lot of these motherfuckers like Shakur, they acting like they ain't Tank, but they are Tank. They moving like Tank. Keyshawn Davis, they acting like they ain't like Tank, but they moving like Tank. Devin Haney moving like Devin Haney. Say what you want to say. Devin, willing to shoot the fade. Say what you want to say. You can say, oh, Benavidez want to fight everybody. The minute people wanted to see him fight better, Bevel, he shook the spot. Just watch what these motherfuckers do, bro. It ain't too many real stone cold killers, and the killers that we got, We ask so much of them because the rest of the field don't give us what we demand. Everything shouldn't fall on the Floyd Mayweather, on the Terrence Crawford, on the Manny Pacquiao, on the Oscar De La Hoya, on the Sugar Ray Leonard, on the Thomas Hearns, on the Muhammad Ali. It's a collective, and it never did in a lot of those other eras. It wasn't just Roy Jones. You had Bernard Hopkins, James Toney, young Floyd Mayweather. You had the heavyweight division still kind of above. You still had Lennox towards the end. Trinidad, De La Hoya. You know what I'm saying? You still had guys bubbling. You know what I'm saying? You know, even going back, you know, in the 90s, you know, even when before Roy became Roy and, you know, Mayweather, you had Tyson, Holyfield, Bo, Lennox, you know, you had guys like Hakeem Rockman, Ray Mercer, Tommy Morrison, David Tua. And then you go into the lower weight classes, Mike McCullum, Julian Jackson, Terry Norris. And you had just a plethora of different guys in that 90s era, you know, that still was, you know, pretty relevant. Chavez, you know, somewhere in there. You still had a nice plethora of guys. Some of them guys might have been a little bit seasoned, a little bit older, but you go to the lower weight, it just wasn't one guy carrying the responsibility of fighting the best. You had good fights on all the time in the 80s. You had great fights going on all the time. You know, Burbick, Holmes, you know what I'm saying? You know, the Leonard, Duran, Hagler. I mean, you could just keep going on and on and on. So right now it's just to the point where it's like we expect Onuyue, Crawford, Usyk to carry the mantles on their own and put the sport on their back, and I don't feel like that's fair. That responsibility should be bared by everybody. Everything shouldn't fall on Devin. Everything shouldn't fall on Usyk, Terrence Crawford. You know, you knew your way. You know, some of these dudes got to carry their weight. Keyshawn, Shakur. You know what I'm saying? All these dudes need to carry their weight. Everybody need to do their part. You know, I feel like Benavidez. You know, help us on the way. Moses Atama, Richard Torres. All these guys got to start doing their part to carry the sport, to be real with you. But in this fight, man, you know, historically, it tells me that Keyshawn Davis, unless the money is super right, which it is, he ain't going to take this fight. Everybody moving for a payday. Everybody just trying to get that one payday, whether it's Richardson, Hitchens. Don't nobody want to put the work in and build the fan base. That's what you got to do as a black fighter in America. You got to build it. You got to build the fan base. Everybody want to beat around the bush. Everybody want to, you know, y'all got to fight each other, whether it's Hitchison, Keyshawn Davis, Jermaine Ortiz, Gary Anton Russell. All them motherfuckers need to fight each other. Raimondo Moratella, Andy Cruz, Abdullah Mason, Sam Noakes, Floyd Schofield, Ray Foster, and Oshaki Foster, and Joe Cordina, and Bruce Shushu, Rafael Espinoza, Angelo. All them motherfuckers need to fight. You know, look at Gary Russell, Leo Santa Cruz, Oscar Valdez, Josh Warrington. All them motherfuckers should have fought each other. All of them should have fought each other. They should have retired with fatter pockets. All of them should have fought each other. You know, do I believe Keyshawn is really going to fight Devin Haney? No. I don't believe so. That's just my personal opinion because I know how these niggas. I just talked about his history. That should tell you everything you need to know. Keyshawn do a lot of barking, but no fucking biting. Ain't no way he should have left that division without fighting Cruz. And just think about it. He trying to go from 40 to 47 real quick. That means he ain't gonna never fight Andy Cruz. He ain't gonna never fight Andy Cruz. And then he said he wants to jump up and get a belt. Or who belt he gonna take? You know, they gonna put money behind him to get Lewis Crocker. That have to be the next logical thing. I ain't never seen Lewis Crocker fight, so I can't speak on it. You know, Rolly probably ain't gonna fight no Keyshawn Davis neither. So yeah, they once you really look at it, y'all really look at boxing, there's so many just moving parts in the current event department. Once you really just look at it, you end up finding out, man, that, you know, a lot of these guys ain't who they say they are. That's a fact. A lot of these guys ain't who they say they are. And that's the unfortunate part about it. A lot of these guys ain't who they say they are. Keyshawn Davis, he's a businessman. I would bet a pretty penny that he ain't gonna fight Devin Haney in the next 365. Really, he was a contender a prospect who quickly turned into a contender who just got a belt. And then you think on the flip side of it, even when he was a champion coming up to, you know, a prospect becoming a contender, he already had issues. I think people tend to forget that he had issues already. You know, this dude, you know, got a no contest with Nair Albright for weed, and he didn't look good in that performance at all. You know, stop me when I'm lying. Then on top of that, he blow off weight and he blow off the whole entire fight with Edwin De Los Santos. Never made a title defense. So, you know, in reality, he's fairly green. In reality, he's really, really green. So can we trust somebody who threw a whole fight week away? He took the whole fight week and love the way you tossed it away at home. Can we trust him to, you know, to competently make it to a Devin Haney fight this year, this millennium, this decade? Crash out Keisha Davis? We seen what he did to get out the Edwin De Los Santos fight right then and there. That's kind of like telling you to keep it a bean. That's kind of telling you right then and there. It's like, he found a way out the fight. Is he gonna, you know, have a reputation like Schofield? It sound good. He talk good. I don't really think his heart in it. I just think he in it for the bread. You know, everybody's so thirsty and so hungry for money. It is ridiculous, bro. It is ridiculous. Right now, is Devin more the proven commodity? Yeah, I think Keyshawn got a lot of room to grow. I think he got a lot of potential. I like the mentality. I like the skill set. I like the development. Whoever the new coach is, that's going to be interesting. But it's a fight that the sport need. But at the end of the day, you know, we done enough talking. We done enough talking to keep it real. We done enough talking. We need action. We don't need no more, you know, rendezvous fights. We need fights that's going to happen immediately. You know what I'm saying? We need the fights that's going to literally happen immediately. We done heard enough about, you know, making plans down the line and all that other type shit, man. We need these jokers to fight. The sport is literally in hospice right now. Not even on life support. It's in hospice. Keyshawn Davis not about to fight Haney no time soon. He needs to watch out for Devin Ortiz, and there you have it. Most people don't believe this fight gonna happen no time soon, and that's sad that we can sit here and talk about a fight that ain't gonna happen no time soon. Ain't that crazy? That's super duper crazy. But I got any questions I'll answer. But for the most part, it need to happen soon. It need to happen soon. You know, because all the fights that you wanted to see him with ain't gonna happen. Him and Shakur Stevenson, despite what they say, it ain't gonna happen. Him and Andy Cruz probably too far away and wait, especially if he move up again. Ain't gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, him and Richardson Hitchinson, they both price each other out. Ain't happen. Ain't happen. You know, and we just sitting here twiddling our fingers and twiddling our thumbs for this shit to happen, bro. Like, come on, man. PBC done enough of this. Did a number. They did a number on us with this type of shit. Waiting on fights that they had no plans on happening. They had no plans on happening. You know, but you know, it is what it is, or it is what it ain't. But I think for the most part, I would probably favor Devin right now. But you know, you got to ask yourself why Keyshawn Davis don't want to compete at 140. You know what I'm saying? Why he don't want to compete at 140? I believe that's a $1 million question. Why don't he want to compete at 140-pound division? You know, that's my thing about it. I don't think it's for the lack of making weight. But, you know, could Jermaine Ortiz beat him? When the last time he fought? Hold on, give me 5 seconds. When the last time he fought? So he fought last February, so it almost would be a year to the day. So Jermaine Ortiz, he last fought in August in Orlando. Was that on the Tim Tszyu card? Who was the fucking main event of this card? Oh, this was a Jake Paul card. No? Yeah, I don't know who was it. That Barroso guy was on this card. Oh, this is a Pro Box card. Okay. Was this Pro Box? Oh, it's a Jake Paul card. Yeah. I don't know who was on this motherfucker. Yeah, I must have missed this one. The Jake Paul card. You know, Tillis was on this card. He got upset by. So yeah, bro. So he fought in August. So he getting warmed up. Jermaine Ortiz. Ortiz fought 2 times last year. He fought March, and then he turned around and fought in Orlando. So this nigga's Orlando native. He fought Christian Ruben Mino in March. I mean in Orlando, Caribbean, Caribbean, or whatever. Orlando. He fought Orlando the last 3 times. So yeah, he fighting the active Jermaine Ortiz. Yeah, he fighting the active Jermaine Ortiz. So, yeah, you know, I was listening to Keyshawn on TikTok. He was saying, you know, he just got done sparring, saying he ain't getting touched in sparring. So, we'll see. This is a dangerous fight to come back with. You know, if I'm going to take a fight of this nature, I might as well just fight Africa then. That's how I feel. You should have just fought Africa and got the belt. But then niggas wanted generational money for that particular fight. That's the wild shit about it. Niggas wanted to get paid how they weigh. It's that wild, but I mean, shit, it is what it is. So I love to see it, but you know, I agree with y'all in the comment section. You know, Keisha Davis, crash out Keisha Davis. He getting a reputation for you know, his pullout game. He getting a reputation for his pullout game. So it don't surprise me none. You know, this shit got to die, you know, for shit to change. Or some of these old farts got to get the fuck on. Frank Warren, Bob Arum, even Eddie Hearn. Even Eddie got to get the hell on. Just to keep it a bean. And it's sad, in my opinion. You know, because it really, in reality, it shouldn't even have to be that way. You know, but it is what it is, man. I appreciate y'all for watching. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. We go live or drop a video. Let me know what you girls and guys think in the comment section. Yeah, hit the link tree, join the Patreon. I should be updating it pretty soon. But you know, other than that, man, shout out to everybody that catch the replay gang. You want to support the channel, share, subscribe, check out the Free Game 89 channel. All those links inside the link tree is in the description. Hit that link in the description, the first link. It'll take you to where I'm producing content at. So I had an NFL playoff prediction video coming. I'm gonna talk about what Malik Scott has said about Crawford tomorrow. So anything else that come up that's major, I'm gonna get to it tomorrow. So y'all should be, start seeing videos around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. So appreciate y'all. One time for the one time. Peace.